today we're joined by Tobias Kormind and Vadim Weinig, the visionaries behind 77 Diamonds, a global jewelry empire crafting and selling bespoke diamond and gemstone engagement rings across 70 countries. Their journey is really special, and they're here today to share it with us. Thank you so much for making it here today. We're really happy to have you. So just to start, I want to speak to you guys about, your brand story. Can you tell us about the inspiration behind starting 77 Diamonds?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Vadim has a much more interesting story because he's third generation from diamonds. But from my perspective, it was more from a technology, internet, e-commerce, and luxury kind of background. But we kind of came together because we identified that there was a gap in the market. If we looked at what was there at the origins of the company, which is almost 20 years old, there was the beginnings of kind of internet e-commerce around diamond jewelry. But you look at the experience, and it was high volume, lower quality. And then on the other hand, you've got quite a cold feeling with some of the big jewelry brands, the big luxury jewelry brands. So we felt that there was an opportunity to take the best of both of those. If you take the kind of the optionality and the better value from the internet, but you don't compromise on the customer experience, and you offer the quality and craftsmanship of the luxury jewelers, you combine them together, and it was quite revolutionary at the time, and bring that directly to customers. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've managed to be so successful, is we brought something quite unique, and we turned the whole model a little bit on its head. And us coming here to the amazing Dubai is all about bringing that model out to more customers. So I think we've already established ourselves as the leader in Europe, and we think now that the Middle East is very interesting and great potential. But for us, it's really like this made-to-order craftsmanship. Superior craftsmanship, but the choice that you can get and the transparency that you get from online.
But is there an emotional story behind why you guys started the brand?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, we've known each other for over 20 years.
Wow.
And just to give a little bit of my background story as well, my grandfather was a member of the Bourse in Antwerp since the 1930s, used to be. My father worked in the industry as well, although they worked more on the polished side and then moved to the rough side. So they worked in different segments of the industry than what we're doing right now. And I think what's funny also is that Tobias came from he always loved jewelry, so I'm speaking for yourself.
No, please, it's fine.
But came from a finance/marketing background, and I came from purely a diamond background. And actually our interests really crossed because I really wanted to do something with the internet, which wasn't a given at the time because we're almost a diners or like a company for the internet age. We started 20 years ago, so we have heritage, and but we crossed in that I got a lot more interested on the marketing technological aspects, and Tobias really
on the craftsmanship.
On the craftsmanship.
I also come from a Scandinavian background, so for me, the kind of the manufacturing, the quality of craftsmanship, the design are incredibly important elements. And so although a transition from this kind of technology and marketing background, I've been fascinated by it. And I mean, there's nothing like jewelry, fine jewelry, and the way it's made. Still very much by hand. There's a limit to how far you can push the technology. In the end, it's master craftsmen. If you're going to have really good quality jewelry, it has to be finished, crafted by master craftsmen if you want that kind of quality. And so it's you combining like the old world and the new, and that's what makes it really exciting.
In the beginning, when your brand started, were you guys ever actually a part of the process of creating the diamonds themselves?
Yeah, so I mean, diamond creation is a whole nother territory. You can talk to that because Vadim's been as close to. I mean, the Earth creates diamonds, right? So unless it's synthetic diamonds, they were formed in the primordial stage of when the Earth was created, and the reason why we have them today is because they're brought up by volcanic eruptions, and they're brought to the surface because we can't reach down deep enough into the earth of where the diamonds are actually formed. So do we actually create diamonds? I would say no, but we're definitely part of that. But you can talk talk a little bit about how close you've gotten to the formation of diamonds?
Yeah, so actually in my early days, I also partially grew up in South Africa. So with my father, I used to go to local diggings or mines, and it was quite exciting. Very often they used to, they'd have trays, and then they would put like the trays on a platform and go through, and it was almost like, I would liken it to like opening at the time, a pack of cards when it was a football World Cup, and you're looking for that special card in the packet, and it's the same thing. You're looking at diamonds, and you're hoping you're finding a fancy colored diamond or a larger white diamond, D color, etc. And so there was always that excitement factor, both for the digger and for us coming in to see. It wasn't always like that, but I'm just giving you an example of a snapshot of some of our experiences. So that was exciting. I also, at some point, because I went through the different stages. So I also polished diamonds for a while when I was much younger in my training.
Wow, so you were really a part of the process.
Yeah.
Were you too?
No, not at all. I had some family connections into the diamond industry. For me, it was a much later stage. When I was in university, I used to go to the offices and look at diamonds and so on, but I was in finance. I came from a completely different background and transitioned to technology. But I was fascinated with diamonds, and I've always been fascinated with design. That's been really important. But I think I'm a later stage entrant into the whole diamond world, and it's incredible because it is when we started the business, it was really old school in the way it was very traditional, very old school, and really ripe for disruption to some extent as well. And part of the beauty of it is it's still very old school, both the making of the jewelry and the way the diamonds. There's a lot of trust still in the diamond world of how business is being done. The fact that I had some family connections and Vadim's entire background and family comes from that gave us really privileged access into what is a very closed world, and that gave us a much stronger helping hand.
You said you studied finance, right?
I studied law actually, but I worked in finance.
Okay.
I was in investment banking. Don't shoot me now.
Okay, I see. Actually, I study accounting and finance. So,
Oh well,
yeah, I see what you mean.
This is the fundamental understanding of everything, right?
And what do you study?
Well, I studied business and psychology at Edinburgh University.
Oh, that explains a lot now, the psychology
This is
part.
really interesting. This is so interesting. It really tells you that, what you study is not what you become.
No.
It really is not
But it
what
gives
you
you the
become.
building blocks, right?
Yeah.
It's, as much as the experience
with
of
you.
university and what you study as well. So you've ended up in a completely different space.
Yeah, journalism.
But you can ask much more pertinent questions, I think, then, because you understand. You can, kind of root through
You
where.
need that knowledge, you do. And you spoke about the design. So, we all can agree that quality and affordability, they don't always go hand in hand in the luxury sector. So how does 77 Diamonds manage to offer high quality diamonds at competitive prices?
Yeah, so, our initial model was we wanted to be transparent. Because we felt the industry, especially at that time, but still today, is not always as transparent as it should be. Like, for instance, there's many retailers that still sell diamonds that are self-certificated. So they'll put, what they feel is the color / clarity of the diamond. And if you then buy those diamonds at face value and you send them to independent laboratories like the GIA, which is the most reputable lab out there, that they'll give you a gradient that's slightly different. That's usually going to be a few colors lower or a few clarity grades lower. And we wanted to actually empower the customer, make it very transparent. So we have a lot of, we're actually one of my first missions when we started the business, personal mission, but for the business, was to make sure we have one of the widest selections, if not the widest selection of diamonds, independently certificated diamonds worldwide.
Yeah.
And today our website is the largest selection of diamonds in the world, of freshly polished stock.
Wow.
And it's about the supply chain sourcing. What we've done is we looked at the traditional models and we peeled away a lot of the layers of cost that you would have. So for example, we're not committed to doing large retail shops where you hold huge stock. What we want is we want to be able to pass on savings to our customers in terms of like the diamond price fluctuations, currency fluctuations, and not push the agenda of the stock we have, and that's what we want them to buy. But instead, what we're doing is a just-in-time, made-to-order, and you can also get truly bespoke, or you pick from one of our designs. But we're acting as almost a guide for our consumers. which is a totally different experience than when you walk into a store, they want to sell you something that they have.
Yeah.
What we want is we want you to make, you the consumer, to make the right decision for you. And so we give you access to the entire global market of diamonds, and you can create something completely unique. You've got an idea in your head, you're buying it for yourself, you're buying it for a partner, and you know their style and so on. You can tailor something, and it's a much more personal gift. And there's room for more creativity, there's room for you to input more into the process, which is something that we, in the end, if you look at what fine jewelry is a lot of the time, it's an emotional expression of how you feel, either about rewarding yourself or the connection with another person, right? And so you're expressing that in some kind of crystallized form, no pun intended.
It's a beautiful form.
Yeah, but it's something that the person will wear and they'll feel good about, and they'll, it strengthens the bond of connection to another person. And I think it represents something, momentous in a life, part of the life journey and so on. And that's, it's not that we don't want to overplay like the part that we play. It's a very small part in people's life journey, but just it's a privilege for us to be part of that journey and to help people express that, because I don't think we do that enough, right? With the people we care about, with the people we love, to express it basically. So I think we're a little part of that beautiful kind of tradition, and I think that really is what gets us up in the morning and kind of.
Oh, see, when I asked you guys, what's the emotional part behind your brand?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
It was so beautiful to hear that, because it's like, as a woman, I always told myself when like I reached a certain target or like certain aim, I would actually buy myself diamonds. No, seriously, that's what I told myself, and there was like this uncertainty of who do I go to, because there's a lot of people who sell diamonds. So my question to you is, what makes you guys stand out? Why are you different than other people? Why should I choose you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great question. I think it's very much about the reason, why we're here. Because I think we've built a business that wraps around the consumer and empowers the consumer, which is so different to a lot of other brands, okay? And with us, you can both get this amazing fine craftsmanship. You've got this enormous selection. We are totally dedicated to servicing customers. And I think it's extremely rare to find brands that combine all of those things. And usually people have an agenda and they're pushing in a direction and they're trying to move the consumer. And instead we take a step back and we go, what is it? What is best for the consumer? And then we've built around that, and we continually innovate and change the business to be able to be there. That's also why we've got now 11 locations. We've got 3 signed up, new ones as well coming up.
Congratulations.
We're very excited by that. But that's also about being where, Vadim spends a lot of time in the data and analyzing where our customers are, where they need us to be, and bridging the kind of, because, online gets you only so far, even though I think the online universe is incredible, what you can give the consumers. But being there physically, knowing that there is a physical place you can go to interact with somebody, to get that tailored solution, and it's more private. Let's say, here you've got the malls. Well, we're in the Almas Tower, so it's a much more privileged luxury experience, I think, than kind of, it's more anonymous and so on, and then you get that really one-to-one interaction where we can do anything, as opposed to maybe going to the shuk or going to.
If I can just add, we offer a very personalized experience. So you have the one-to-one element. You also have, even if you don't decide to come in our showroom to meet with one of our representatives, you can also just go on the website, and actually every piece you buy is bespoke, because you're selecting what you want. You're creating your piece. If you're buying an engagement ring, we also sell other types of jewelry, of course. But you can also create real bespoke jewelry. We have a team of very experienced bespoke designers, and everything is designed in-house.
Okay, and I want to speak to you about Dubai. You guys are here, so it's known for its luxury market, and I can see that 77 Diamonds. It's all about luxury. What motivated you guys to establish a presence here, and what can customers here expect from your showroom?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you want to talk about like the dynamics of why we would choose to go to Dubai?
Yeah, well, Dubai is very forward-thinking. You know, it's a very forward-thinking society. I mean, it's become incredible. You know what the Sheikh has built over the last decades. It's just unimaginable, right? And I think we're a very forward-thinking company. So
It's a good match.
it's a good match, yeah. We're also very technologically oriented, right? So we're multi-channel, and we've actually got a large IT team, although it doesn't maybe seem like it when people first think of a jewelry brand.
I didn't expect that. I won't lie to you guys.
Like
I didn't expect that when you said data. I was like,
20% of the companies are IT oriented.
Yeah.
So
So there's a lot of things that are a work in progress. You know, I'm currently looking at how we can integrate AI, both on the website as well as in the background with data, etc. We're also looking at using augmented reality. So there's a lot of things on the go.
What kind
which
of
is a
AI
good,
though?
yeah, no, but we can talk about it. But you were asking about the fit with Dubai, but you know the innovation and the forward thinking, you know that connection is really strong with Dubai.
Yeah.
Plus, I think we were looking at the data of people ordering, and we were seeing more and more customers actually ordering from us, even though we were not physically located here. And that made it obvious that this would be one of the next. And I think, you know, we see that the parts of the Middle East have really are starting to become a lot more forward thinking. And I mean, Dubai is one of the places leading that way, but I think there are other countries as well. So we you know, Vadim loved it so much, he moved here. He's based here. But
You haven't.
I personally, no, I'm still in London.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you plan to come here?
Who you know, you never know. I've been really impressed, but I like this, you know, for me, this is kind of my first proper visit. So yeah, no, so I'm still, you know, kind of, and Vadim has been talking and teaching me a lot, obviously, as well, and we've got some great staff here.
For how many years have you been here?
Well, I moved here in 22.
Oh, okay. So not that long.
Not that long, no. Although I had visited Dubai previous to that. And I was very impressed by you know, it's very forward thinking, a lot of entrepreneurs. You know, if you come here and you want to get things done, you want to achieve something in your life, you're going to meet a lot of like-minded people, as you know, I'm sure. There's a lot of opportunities still as well.
And when we think that the model for Dubai is our model, I think is bringing something really different. So you have the luxury brands, you know where to go. You have the mall experience. You have the is it souk? Is that the right word?
Souk, yeah. The go-to.
The souk, you know, which is also again a different type of experience. And of course, there's lots of different types of customers. So it's, you know, brands are not going to be right for everybody. But I think for people who are looking for that kind of different luxury experience where they want to be more involved in the creative process.
And taken care of.
Yeah, no, that's a given. But yeah, absolutely. And really, you know, immersed in that kind of one-to-one luxury experience, then I think we can offer that. And it's something different and bigger choice, better pricing, you know, and really a luxury personalized kind of service is our angle.
I mean, Dubai is a luxury hub, right?
Yeah.
So that was also a natural fit. And then we're based in the Almas Tower, which actually I read that around 2008 was actually one of the tallest towers in Dubai at the time. It has although you don't really need that extra security in Dubai, because it's already so secure, but it's one of the most secure buildings in Dubai as well. And, you know, it's very exclusive.
Yeah.
And it houses the Dubai Diamond Exchange as well. So it's very relevant to our industry.
The perfect location.
Yeah.
What I have to ask you guys is that, you know, obviously, you know, in the century that we're living in now, people really care about sustainability. You know, it's a really big movement. How does 77 Diamonds ensure that, you know, that you maintain sustainability?
Yeah, no, sustainability and I think, you know, social responsibility are kind of all very key words. So, I mean, we're doing a range of things. So first of all, we've been using recycled gold for a really long time, way before it became fashionable, because we thought it was the right thing to do. And we've looked at like different sourcing. For example, we don't carry Burmese rubies because we don't, you know, so I think from a geopolitical perspective, and we've other geopolitical areas, etc., when there's been conflicts in Africa and so on, we've been, you know, very careful about our sourcing. We make sure to always work with responsible sourced goods, basically. So that's been, you know, a very important part of it. And now some interesting dynamics are going on in the diamond industry as well in terms of origin of goods, where you can trace and track using a range of technology to be able to look at the original rough diamond, and then kind of it's cut through its cutting process. So blockchain technology is coming into the diamond industry, and we're at the forefront of trying to embrace that as well. And we've had people say, I want a Canadian diamond, I want a diamond from Botswana.
So specific.
Yeah, you can. You can even choose the mine.
Is there actually a difference between them? Depending on the country that it comes from?
And generally speaking, yes. But of course, you can still find similar diamonds everywhere, at least in terms of cut grade, clarity, etc. But when you look at them in their rough form, a diamond expert will normally be able to tell where those diamonds came from.
In the rough, yeah.
But
once it's polished, you can't tell origin, which is different to gemstones. So gemstones, based on the inclusions inside the stone, you can actually tell, more or less work out with some extra equipment exactly where the stone would have been mined. With diamonds, it's much harder because I think the formation is much more even in terms of like how, very, very few times can you really tell where a diamond.
Yeah, you can make, once they're cut, you can make guesses, but it's and the more imperfect they are, the more you'll be able to make a guess, but it's going to be a guess.
It will be a guess.
I see. And you guys spoke about AI. I'm really curious.
Okay.
How are you embedding AI into your customer service and your business? Like very specifically, how is it actually going to help us customers shop with you?
Yeah, I'm going to start answering this question from the back end first.
Okay.
Because using AI with customer service is not something we've implemented yet, and it's still a bit.
That's not completely true, actually. We use it in the background for translational services and also a formulation of questions.
Yeah.
But I think, sorry, I interrupted you, but.
No,
but in terms of we very much believe in customer service, and we're very careful. And I think the usage of AI, first and foremost, the customer needs a great experience. And if there's anything that compromises on that, we won't implement it. So we won't compromise for the customer. But so we're very careful about using it to interact directly with the customer. But in the background, we're already using it to make our sales staff more efficient, basically. But go ahead.
No, I mean, on the front, since we started to talk about the front end, retail facing, we're also going to be looking at software that makes recommendations based on the customer's journey or the customer's previous purchases or which items goes with what or what they may, or what the follow-up items might be. There's a lot of things the algorithm is going to be picking up that'll make the appropriate recommendations at the appropriate
and it's
time.
also going to save more time.
Of course.
It's going to save more time for you guys. And, for my next question, what's next for 77 Diamonds? Are there any upcoming announcements that you have that are really going to excite customers?
Yeah.
Ooh, you don't want to reveal that?
No. I mean, first of all, we have a geographic expansion. Which is great. I mean, we are more incrementalists. We don't believe in kind of big bang in a sense, because I think to build a really strong business, I would say that you need to constantly improve and tinker with. And these big leaps, sometimes are much more just for outward, PR, as opposed to. So we're in constant innovation mode. But I guess this year, announcement-wise, the only thing I would say is that we're going to take the largest step in geographic footprint expansion.
Okay.
So we've got quite a few countries coming through, and
Can you tell us one of them?
Yes, Paris, France. Yeah. We're going to be based in.
France is perfect.
Yeah, and so we're going to the home of jewellery in Europe, which is Place Vendôme, which is where the finest jewelers are based. And I think it says something about the locations that we choose. We always choose very carefully something that's strongly aligned with the brand. So, for example, in Zurich, we're in Bahnhofstrasse. In London, we're in Mayfair. And it's really important for us to kind of connect with customers and understand that even if you're buying a relatively low-priced item, if you interact with us, you're coming into a luxury showroom in one of the best locations, because that's our ethos about how we craft our jewelry. and how we give a service to customers, basically. So it has to kind of percolate through the entire brand. It's very, very important, and so we choose these places,
No,
which
they're
is why we're here in Dubai.
locations. They're perfect locations. They
think-
all scream luxury.
Yeah, that's the idea. And also, I mean, there was a little pause when you asked that question because actually there's so many things coming up. And,
Oh, all right. Okay.
I mean,
see.
just to give you another example, another one, but they're not necessarily always huge announcements, like Tobias said, they're all incremental. Another one is we're really focused on, even though our company name is 77 Diamonds, we're really focused now. This year is going to be the year of making sure we cater to our customers with the appropriate selection of gemstones as well, and incorporating that throughout the site seamlessly.
It's all about color.
So more selections. So people are going to be getting more selections.
Yeah, and more
That's
color.
gonna be really exciting. Okay. And for my final question for you guys today, for someone looking to purchase their first piece of fine jewelry, whether it's an engagement ring or it's a special gift, what advice would you give them?
I mean, I think first of all, it depends on where they are in this stage of life, right? So we're known as a bridal jewelry company, but really we offer all types of jewelry, gifts, earrings, bracelets, etc. We do everything, or parure if somebody wants something really bespoke. But I think it really comes from what they need at their stage of their life, And the event, is it a Valentine's gift? Is it a birthday gift? Is it a proposal? Because like you said from the beginning, for us, we don't have an agenda selling something to the customer. We want the customer to tell us what do they need, where are they, and we're going to help them and hold their hand to figure that out with them.
I would say first of all, there's like a budget, know your budget, know the type of person, what the quirky things about the person that you're buying for, if it's a gift, and try and keep that in mind when you're trying to pick the right item. And I would say that, don't overstretch yourself, from a budget perspective. Buy something within your comfort zone, because there's always going to be other opportunities, either to upgrade it. We have beautiful stories of customers coming, and they bought something small from us, and they were at a different stage of life, and then they come back and they're like, I want to upgrade, I want to celebrate that we've had these successes and achievements, which is just so lovely.
Yeah, it's almost like you grow old with them.
But if you do the right thing by your customers, they come back, right? So and that's we try and instill that in all of our staff as well. And we remind them of how important these purchases can be for people, and to make sure we try and get it right. We're not a perfect company. Sometimes we get it wrong, but we are very aware of ourselves, and we always are trying to improve. But I would say know the person, know the budget, and come with a bit of creativity. Put something of yourself into the purchase as well, and then it's more unique and it's more special.
Oh, that's really special to hear. Thank you so much for making it today, guys. Tobias
Thank you,
and
Ward.
Vadim, I loved hearing your perspectives, and thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is Smashy Business Show, a Smashy Business production under the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Make sure to follow our newsletter on Smashy TV, and see you tomorrow.